I recorded this portion a little earlier and realized that there was something wrong with my video, so I'm partially done with what I was talking about. And this is the front bodice of the dress, and I want to give you an example of how I remove and separate the pieces. And I decided to do it here. And here, let me show you. I wanted to remove this center one. And I could see clearly after looking here and looking on the back that there was enough space for me to start cutting around. But I could also see that this section is going to be the most difficult to separate. Maybe, I think I'll do this next, but so I went around carefully and look how close I got to that applique. But I did look back and I saw that the stitching of the pearl is over here and going this way, so I knew I had enough space there. So you're going to have to constantly look back and forth to see. Now the other thing I decided I was going to do is here where it's very, very close. I think that I am going to have a problem, and some of the things are combined. Now let me show you this section right here. See if you can actually see it. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I will describe it to you just in case you don't. So I'm going to use my needle. Can you see right in here? Oops. Right there, I can see a stitch holding, and right here, I can see a stitch holding the pearls on. I do not want to cut that. So what I decided to do was, earlier I tried to use my hot gun, didn't realize that the baby had turned it off on me. Anyway, so, oops, this is kind of hard. Let's see. So I will put a little teeny tiny bit of glue right there. Oops, I guess I put more than I intended to, but it's going to stay together. And the other place you can put glue is over on this side. Now this is how I do it. I really have no idea how other people do this, but I figure things out on my own, and this is how I started doing it. Here I'm pointing with my glue gun. This is where the pearl stitch, where the stitch is glued on, and there's some more over here. And what I'm doing is I'm just securing the pearl stitches so that when I cut it, they will not be in danger of falling off. So I'm just looking, I'm going to look at the opposite side. This one looks like, see, right there, I see a pearl stitch. Now I may have to cut over a little bit of glue, but I'd rather that the pearls stayed on and secure because I don't want to lose them. And since I'm removing this, I'm just gonna, while I'm at it, I'm gonna tack some of these pearls on. So I don't know if anybody else, how everybody else does it, but they do need to be secured. So you could probably go ahead and use like ahead of time use fabric glue or something like that. But I like to do this. I don't want my pearls, if they come apart, I don't want it all to be unraveling. You decide how much you want to put and where you want to put them. But since I have it out, I'm just getting areas, especially that are close to the edges where I might be cutting this applique. See that right there? It's very close to the edge, and I'll probably be cutting this applique a little bit closer in detail. I'm just putting a light amount of glue. I don't want these to come apart, and I don't want all that work that somebody did. Beautiful work, because beading is artistry also. I think most of these things are probably hand beaded. So think about the person who actually put it together and how much effort went into that. And I want to utilize and capture and save that beauty of what they did. So we're gluing this side first, I think, or was it this side? I don't know. Oops, it's too wet still. Let me let it dry. Okay, well it's drying there. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do a cut right here because I can see clearly that I can cut this a little to remove portions. But I don't go close at all to any of the stitching. I stay away from the stitching because it's very close there. So here I'm going to trim. Okay, let it focus and then I'll trim. Along here it should be, hopefully everything will stay together. So sometimes your items will fall apart. So here we go. I got most of it. And the parts that I didn't, hopefully when I shabby chic this up, it will be unnoticeable. Here you can see the applique goes here, and it's very, very close to those beads. I'm actually going to trim the applique a little bit rather than get close to the beads on the other side. Okay, here we go. I took off this little portion, and now one of the things that I would do is I would probably use it like this, except that I would go underneath here and I would closely watch my stitching. I'm watching. Look to see how near your pearls are, but it looks like it's not. It's all glued, so I'm not that worried about it anymore. But trim around your applique like this and make it usable. So then you will be using this applique, and it will be white in the background with all this beautiful pearl work left on it, and pearl and sequence work left on it. So I'm not going to do every single part for you, but I'm just going to choose a few choice pieces to explain to you what you have to worry about. Okay, and this is how I started doing it. No one taught me. I have no idea what other people do. I didn't even know that these things would happen. But I like to learn things. Nothing's impossible to me, and I always figure out a way to do it. So just now, because you glued it all, I'm not so worried. But you could still lose one or two. And if you notice one coming loose or something like that, then add a little bit more glue on the back. So I hope this helps you to be able to rescue your own wedding dresses. There we go. This one is complete and ready to use. The other thing you can do, because remember this part is nylon and polyester because it has lining and the inside and outside of the garment, the satin part and the lining. You can go along with a flame and seal the edges if you feel like that's necessary, but I don't think it will be necessary, but it is an option. If there's something you're doing and you might need to do that, know that that's a choice that you can make. And remember, the flame might weaken the hot glue if you would put it close to flame, but probably not before it would seal the edges of this. Okay, now let's see where we're at. So we removed that beautiful applique from the center, and we did it very carefully. Now the next part I would probably do would be right in here. I would probably remove this appliques from these appliques here. And so I'm going to look closely. Hopefully you can see that there. It looks very close. See this? And this one right here. Oops. This one right here looks very close to the edges. So since this is close to the edge, I'm going to flip it over so you can see. Okay. See, if we would cut right down the middle right here, we would cut the beads off and we would lose all the beads. So that definitely is not an option unless you have your handy dandy glue gun, which I'm going to do is I'm going to glue here, I'm going to glue there, and then I'm going to give it a little chance to melt a little. See, I think of all kinds of ways to do things that, and then I'm going to cut, and I think I'm going to just use the edge of my, then I'm going to push it over into the glue, and I'm going to push this over into the glue so that each little piece because the glue is a little bit dried, it should hold on. And I fold it up over, and then you can see this one's still sticking up. So I am going to secure it with more glue. I put a bead there. I'm going to go ahead and do the other side also. So that way we don't lose that beadwork. So what they did is they did this beadwork, or this one first, and then they drug it over without cutting the needle, and they came over and finished this off. So see, I'm going to use the sequins as my sealer also. I'm going to put a small little bead there, and I'm going to throw this sequence on top of it. So now my sequence is glued down, and hopefully also my my beads will not come off now when I do a clip right in here and separate. Okay, so those are the things you look for. So now that both those sides are kind of dry, I'm going to go this way and do my clipping. Okay, now I'll look again, and I can clearly see that right in here there's no beadwork there yet. I do a little at a time, and I look every time. All right, let's see what's going on. Now I'm going to look what's going on with this one and this one. Are they connected also? And it looks like for this one, there's a knot right there on this side, and on this side, it's this right here. So no, they are not connected. So I can go ahead and proceed to trim there. I would really appreciate it if you really like my videos, that you please share my videos. Share them on your social media pages and share them with your friends. Even if you just comment, thank you. I would love that. I'm examining this portion, and it doesn't look to me like any of these beads or pearls are connected, but here's one bead connection and here's a knot. Oops, let's see. Here's the knot, and here's the bead connection here. And you know, to be safe, I like to glue them. It's not. You got milk? Okay, honey. That's my baby. So you keep on hearing my baby's voice because normally I craft at night, and today, since my son is home, he's helping me with the baby, and so the baby sometimes comes in my craft room. That's pretty much how it is anytime I try to craft during the day. That's why I usually do my videos at night, and sometimes I'll do them when he's napping, but today he wasn't napping, so I hope you enjoyed that cute little voice. This is Liz with Crafty Devotion, and if you've been inspired at all by these videos, if you've learned something and that you didn't know before, I ask that you please comment on my videos, share my videos, all these tutorials with your friends, and give me a thumbs up. I enjoy teaching, and I will see you next time.